What's up, guys? It's your girl Haley Pro, aka the SoundChick here. On today's interview, I speak with Matthew Eanes from a Christian metal band called A Vessel of Honor. During this interview, I learned more about the band's music, future shows, and all the exciting news that is happening for the band, such as them signing on with a new record label called Misanthropic Records. Stay tuned, this is definitely an interview you're not going to want to miss out on.
My name is Matthew Eanes, guitarist and screamer for A Vessel of Honor, and we're going to give a shout out to the rest of the guys, and we are here for the SoundChick.
Take me through who A Vessel of Honor is. When did the band form?
Started out, it was me and Thad Christians. My name is Matthew Eanes, obviously. But it was me and Thad Christians. We had gotten together. We had been in previous bands before, but, they just didn't work out. So we started this project as a recording project in 2016. When we started writing music, it kind of just full speed ahead took off. So it became a band, right off the bat after, we started, doing all the recordings and stuff. Our bass player didn't come in till later. Probably after the release of our first album, he came in.
Very cool. Is there a unique story behind the name of Vessel of Honor?
Yeah, actually. Originally, the band wasn't called A Vessel of Honor. It was called Vessels, or just Vessel. And it referred to a scripture from the Bible. Spoiler alert, we are a Christian metal band. But it came from 2 Timothy 2:21. I'll go ahead and read you the scripture and then just explain it real quickly in layman's terms. Because a lot of these old versions of, the text and stuff, they get a little weird. All right, so it says right here, 2 Timothy 2:21, if a man, therefore, purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the Lord's use, and prepare unto every good work. So, to shorten that up in layman's terms, if you keep yourself pure, positive, you will be a special utensil and or tool for an honorable use.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so the band Vessel, that name was taken, and so we just started back to the scripture, and Vessel of unto honor sounded cool, so we simplified it and made it A Vessel of Honor.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned that you guys are a faith-based band, and it's pretty obvious throughout your music that you are. Can you take me through the process of how the band incorporates scripture or religion within their music besides the band name?
Yeah. All right. So, obviously we're in modern times. We're in the present. We're not in the past. Everything's constantly changing. So you gotta be, I would like to say hip with the time, but you gotta be modern, so, things that are happening now and in everyday life, you gotta relate the text and scripture to the same issues that are happening in the modern time, in modern day. Just like, off our first album, we have a song called, March to the Chair. Basically, that song is talking about there are two judgments. There's a judgment of man, and then there is a judgment of God. And God forgives everything. All you have to do is just ask for the forgiveness. But, the judgment of man, it's not always forgiving. The man was in jail in the song. The man was in jail condemned to death for his actions. But, he asked God for forgiveness. And yeah, we all know that just because you ask God for forgiveness, it don't just go away. No, that stuff, it still sticks with you for the rest of your life. And it's not that you don't, let it go. You have judgment of man, you have judgment of God. So that, that's pretty much what that song's about. And then we have Falling Farther. And then we have sometimes when you lose, everybody always loses a loved one, or always wonders why do the good always die and the bad always stay on top, stuff like that. Well, and sometimes when you lose, that song off our first album, basically it's given an explanation of why these things are. Maybe he took one, and because he took one, that one saved 100, 1,000,000. Depending on the actions of that one he took, how they presented themselves or their actions in life could have changed so many people and their lives and how they go about every day. So, there's a reason.
It sounds like your music is pretty relatable, whether you're, religious or non-religious, which I think is important. especially within this industry.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the band's music, who are some core influences?
Ooh, all right. Well, we have both heavy and non-heavy, believe it or not, religious and not religious. I had wrote down some of the influences of some of the band members, like on hand or from memory. Let's say our bass player Ian, he is this gigantic bodyguard, buff, weightlifting mountain that you don't want to mess with, but he's a teddy bear. So, you can't always read a book by its cover. And when you look at Ian, you're like, oh man, he's going to listen to heavy stuff. His core influences are going to be thick. Actually, he does listen to heavy stuff. He loves bands like Dayseeker and August Burns Red and, bands like that. But on the other end of it, he loves bands like The Killers, Cage the Elephant, old school bands like 311, bands like that. Those are some influences that the bass player Ian Bishop has. With our other guitarist and singer, Thad Christians, a lot of his influences range pretty much across the spectrum, again, from August Burns Red to like Devil Wears Prada to Bring Me the Horizon, and then he goes anywhere from like Third Day, if you're a Christian, and you like contemporary stuff. Third Day is a big contemporary band that he has a lot of influence from. He likes Attack Attack. They're very gent, like Thad's influences are very gent core, and he really loves rhythms. He likes to mess with rhythms. As far as my influences within the band and outside of the band, or just music in general, my wife loves show tunes, so I'm having to watch constant musicals. And I mean, I love musicals, but I never thought of the musicals as something that I could use as an influence. But believe it or not, and a lot of the stuff that we're doing off the first album and, later on in our new stuff that we may write, I pull a lot of influences from, the show tunes aspect. And then I pull, like, most of my biggest influences were way out of the spectrum from what they have. But like Dream Theater and Between the Buried and Me and After the Burial and, bands that are like super virtuoso, intricate, and perfectionists, and they just want their sound tight. Anything that's positive, I love. I have influences like Slipknot. My son is a huge influence. Every day, he wants to learn something new. He wants to do something new. So he's probably my biggest influence core right now. I'd say Thad has 3 kids, so I'd say he's got the same thing going on with him. With his wife is a music teacher too, so he gets a lot of influence from her. I'm assuming as well.
Right. Family is a pretty big aspect in daily life. But musically, it seems like you guys have a lot of like different influences, which I think really blend well together.
We pull from all of those influences, and you'll probably see it more in the future with our writing styles as opposed to what we have now.
Right. Out of all of your personal musical inspirations, what is your favorite song to listen to over and over again?
My favorite song?
Yeah.
To listen to over and over again? All right, so are you saying instrumental or non-instrumental? Are you saying there has to be some vocals to that, or...
It can be anything, just something that you listen to over and over again that is an inspiration to you.
Well, I want to say when I'm at work, I do a mindless job. I do upholstery. So my brain gets scattered through everything, and I need something to kind of focus it into point. So I listen to like Galactic Empire, and basically all it is they're metalizing Star Wars music. So I would say that, but technically that's just making my mind not so scattered. I would probably say the number one song, The Count of Tuscany from Dream Theater, for me. The song lasts forever. It has pretty much everything you would want in it, and I can pretty much solve any problem between me and my wife with that one song.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Going back to the band being a Christian metal band, do you ever find it hard reaching particular audiences due to the fact that you guys are a faith-based band?
Not really. At the end of the day, it really depends on the show, the bands, the crowd, and the individuals. We're here to bring the message and the scriptures translated into modern day life. And if that's just, they want to be there to listen to the music, that's great. The music will sound good to them. They'll have a great time. If not, then I guess it wasn't their cup of tea. Sometimes we might hear about it, be like, that was great, but you could fix this. Constructive criticism is always good. We ask for it. But like, for instance, if we get there and it doesn't seem like everybody's into it and there's just one person that just comes up to us and they want to learn more or they have questions and they're like, we're here to answer those questions they have to the best of our ability. We'll teach them whatever we know. And, we've played with all kinds of bands. We've played with all kinds of crowds and all kinds of venues. We've even played, we've played with satanic bands. We've played with, bands that are hate bands that aren't satanic or aren't religious, but they just have very negative messages. And we jam to it. We run around in the pit. We have fun. We're not there to judge anyone, and we're not there to think bad of anyone. If they don't like it, that's not their cup of tea. Dude, we'll fist bump them and be like, hey, let's go do something else. We'll figure it out later. But no, not really. We don't get that much negativity at our shows. Even the satanic band that we had played with, dude, they were awesome. They come up, they hugged us. They were like, we really appreciate you guys. Even though it's not our message, our cup of tea, you guys rocked, and, we can get down with that. So at the end of the day, like I said, it really depends on the show, the bands, the crowd, individuals, and whatnot. And if it's what they want, it's great. If not, it doesn't bother us. And I'm pretty sure if they don't have questions about it, it won't bother them. They'll just have a good time listening to the music.
So let's shift gears to talk about something super exciting for the band that just happened. A Vessel of Honor just signed on with Misanthropic Records. What was it like signing that contract?
I didn't feel like I was awake. It all felt like a dream, but then when it all kind of snapped in, dude, I felt, personally, I've been wanting a record label or a record deal my whole life ever since I started playing music. But immediately when he was like, hey, here's a contract, sign, if you guys want to join, I immediately got scared. I have a lot to lose now compared to when I was a teenager. And I know Thad, our other guitarist singer, has 10 times the amount to lose. He has 3 kids and a lot to lose. So yeah, it was scared. It was exciting, and overwhelming all at once. I love Misanthropic Records. They do so much work. They work so hard. They take care of their bands. They're very respectful, and they represent the band exactly how they want to be represented. And it was just fun. It was exciting, and it's still not clicking right now. Well, we're on a label. It hasn't fully clicked. Once we play our first show as a band of Misanthropic Records, then it'll probably click. Yeah.
Right. I know for a lot of bands, finding a home with a label is something that's amazing and thrilling and, of course, as you mentioned, scary. But I'm super glad that you guys, found a home with Misanthropic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How did you guys find out about the label? Did they reach out or vice versa?
Well, they found us, and they found us through social media. As we went forward with our social media outlets, with Facebook, Instagram, and so forth and so on, they came to us. I got a message from one of the agents that they have on their label. They're like, hey, we saw your site. We were very interested in your sound. You guys seem like you got your, like you got all your stuff together and whatnot. We want you to speak to the CEO of the label, and he may offer you a contract. What do you think about that? I was like, great, send it, let's do it. These guys, they came to us and they found us, and it was just, I don't know, I think it was meant to be.
That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that for you guys. Misanthropic Records is home to several different bands. Not all of them are faith-based. What is it like being a faith-driven band, being on a secular, record label like Misanthropic?
I don't see any difference. Obviously there are logistic differences between being on a Christian label as opposed to being on a secular label, but in my own opinion, I don't see the difference. I think it's great, to be honest. Because this is where you want to be. Where most people need the positivity, they need the message. It's in the pits. It's in the mud. It's in the darkest alleys of someone's depressed life, And like I was saying earlier, if we just reach one person, that, to me, that meant the world. If it kept them from doing something, bad or making a bad decision that would alter their life in a bad way. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the label is a secular label. The label has, I believe, one other Christian band on there. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Angels and Demons. But no, they treat us with the utmost respect, being a Christian band, and they take in consideration, how a Christian band would want to be represented as opposed to a secular band. So they take all of that in account. So I look at it as more of a positive thing.
You guys have an album that was released a few years ago, Sometimes When You Win, You Lose. What are 2 tracks off this album that you always recommend to people?
It's a broad aspect with that topic because those songs can be represented in or translated in so many different ways. One person can get a translation of that song that may relate to them in one way, and someone else will hear the same song and it'll relate to them differently. But if I had to say 2 songs, I would probably say March to the Chair and Treading Water. Just for the simple fact they are the most popular songs and they are the ones that people relate to the most. So I would probably say March to the Chair and Treading Water.
Yeah, Treading Water is one of my favorite songs off that album as well. So it is to my understanding that the band has a new album in the works. What can fans expect from this? How will it differ from your previous album?
Well, yeah, we do have an album in the works. It's been in the works for a while now. People are excited about it that know us, and it's a lot heavier and a lot darker. The sounds and the lyrics to it and the writing style is just a lot darker and a lot heavier, and it covers a lot more of the modern day issues that we either already had in the first album or that we still have, and now more is added to it, like depression, family problems, scheduling in your life, how things just don't always turn out the way you want them, time in general, that just time itself is too short, and you've got to make the best of time. And, you don't have forever to make specific decisions in life.
I know you mentioned it's been in the works for a while now, but when can we expect the release of this new album?
A few singles should be released this fall. Hopefully we can get them out by October. But I do not think we're going to be able to get the full album out by the end of the year. It will probably be at the very beginning of the year, if not at the very beginning of spring at the latest.
Awesome. Where do you expect fans will be able to listen to it?
Everywhere.
Literally
everywhere. You can find us on Pandora. You can find us on iHeart. You can find us on Spotify. We are on Google Play. Our album is for sale on Amazon. I think Amazon Music may have it as well. We're on many, many different streaming internet radios. I think they may play some of ours on some FM stations here soon. With Misanthropic Records, they're opening up so much more media outlets with that. Literally, if you just Google a Vessel of Honor band, or just go to our Facebook page, you can find everything.
I'm excited for it. So the band has an upcoming show this month, titled Metal for March of Dimes. Some of my favorite bands that I've interviewed and worked with in the past will be on this show, including you guys, so that's awesome. Is the band getting excited for this show?
Yeah, I'm happy to know that we're one of your favorite bands now.
Woo-woo!
Yeah, we're super excited. It's a great foundation organization. The March of Dimes helps so many. And we're just straight up stoked. We'll play on the 26th of that. It's a 3-day event, 2 or 3 day event. It'll be on the 25th starting, going towards the 27th. But we'll play on the September 26th on a Saturday. And for more information, if you haven't checked out our Facebook, we have the event on there. So just go on our Facebook page and go to the scroll down, and it'll be on an event, and just click on it. Tell them you're going, or go. It's a good cause. You need to go. I don't care if you live in Texas or California. You need to go to South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, and you just need to go.
Right. For fans who don't know, what is this show, benefiting? What is March of Dimes trying to do?
It's a fundraising organization that helps people in need. There was if I can think clearly, I won't name no names, but there was a lady that was having a baby, and the baby was born premature, and they didn't have the finances to take care of everything because they wasn't well prepared. They didn't think it was going to come that early, I assume. But March of Dimes stepped in. They took care of so many expenses. They had bought things for the baby, clothes, whatnot, and they just made sure they were well took care of, that they didn't have to worry about things like that. So yeah, they help out people that are in need. I don't really know how exactly you go about, like, whether they find you or you find them, I don't know. But they are a great organization, and they help out so many people.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. I'm really excited that, a Vessel of Honor is going to be a part of this journey for them. So that's really cool to hear. Put yourself in the position of being on stage again and you playing with your band live. In terms of crowd engagement, what do you like to... You're pulling out your guitar now. What do you like to see coming from the crowd? Would you rather see circle pits, wall of deaths, people jumping up and down? What is the best thing a crowd can do to get your band energized?
Well, as far as the circle pit and the wall of death, personally, I like them both. I mean, make a circle pit and then have a wall of death, just close them in the middle. Why not, right? Basically, I want everyone, to have a nice, clean, positive moshing, because the thing that really gets me is you got to look out for everyone. You got to look out for each other. Get up there, stage dive, crowd surf, wall of death, mosh pit, even hardcore mosh. I don't know if you ever seen that before, but it's like people are like fisting the ground and doing roundhouses and stuff. But you got to be cool about it, and be very careful. Short story, we had played a show in Charlotte, North Carolina, at a venue called Keg and Q, and it was awesome. But there were some really hardcore moshers in that one, and one dude got knocked out cold, and he didn't notice it until after it happened. And it's the energy. I love energy. I love people singing the lyrics to the song. I love people, just jumping up and down, and I love them having a good time and enjoying themselves and staying positive. So anything, movement, the things that me and my other guitarist and even my bass player around here in the Virginia metal scene, you'll go to a show, and if not a lot of people show up to it, and you have 30, 50, 60 some people, you always got these people on the very front row. And they're just like hardcore. They'll stand there, arms crossed on their chest or whatever, and they're just kind of like bobbing their head a little bit. They're not really getting into it. They're like, I'm too cool to move. But then you get like a couple thousand there, and no one really looks at it. I think they might be shy, I don't know. But that's I want more energy than just, your hands on your, crossed on your chest. And
yeah.
I want you to move around. I want you screaming. I want you moshing. Wall of death, circle pit, bring it all. I love it all.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of a metal show, right?
Yes, it's exactly the point of a metal show, is to move around and be happy and just enjoy yourself.
Right. So, will your band be previewing any new music, coming off this new album during this show?
Yes. I think we're actually previewing 8 songs off the new album. I know we have done, not necessarily a preview, but we have done some of the new songs at a few previous shows to test them out before we recorded them, just to see the response that we were going to get. If people liked them, all right, let's go with it. If people didn't like them, go back to the drawing board, tweak it a little bit. But no, I know we'll be playing Maelstrom. We'll be playing Nightmares. We'll be playing a brand new one, Amongst the Stars, and a crowd favorite that people are already starting to get into now, which is off the new album, The Kraken. Everybody's really enjoying The Kraken because of the super bass overtones that song has. It's just, that song is energetic. It is, if you don't move during The Kraken, then we got to figure out how to turn your mute button off. Just, yeah, we'll be playing some new songs at the show, and I hope everybody likes them.
That's awesome. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this one, but...
That's the answer I want. Yeah, I'll try my best to go. Yeah.
Well, I'll try my best to go, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this one. But this should be awesome. This should be really fun for you guys. I'm really happy and giddy for you guys.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I am super happy and excited.
Right. So as a musician, if you could give any advice to any upcoming artists or bands, what would it be?
Don't give up. Literally, don't give up on anything. This is life. You know, you got one life, and in life you got to accomplish something. I don't care what it is. I mean, obviously you don't want it to be something negative. Don't go out and kill anybody or anything like that. But, you know, you want to go to college? Go, do it. You want to be a musician? Do it. You want to be a preacher? Do it. Accomplish it. You know, don't let regret rule your life. Don't let anyone else tell you can't do something. And first and foremost, if someone is telling you that you can't do it, use that to your advantage, you know? Use that as fuel, you know? Accomplish something and don't give up and stay positive. And know that you always have friends.
Hey guys, it's the SoundChick here again. I hope you enjoyed the interview with Matthew Eanes of A Vessel of Honor. If you're in their area, please make sure to check out their show for a March of Dimes. A lot of great bands are going to be featured on this lineup, and it's definitely worth a check out. It features a good cause, and it's just some good music all around. So it's definitely worth it. So make sure to do that. But in the meantime, definitely head over to Spotify or other streaming services to check out A Vessel of Honor's music. Currently out is their first album titled Sometimes When You Win You Lose. However, like Matthew said in this new album, some new singles will be dropping fairly soon. So be on the lookout for that as well. Thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to having you on the next one. If you're interested in reading up more of my interviews or music reviews that I do, follow me on my social media on Twitter or Instagram at RealSoundChick. This is a great place to see all of my updates, so definitely check it out there. In the meantime, rock on, my dudes.